the chat is running.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, for fuck's sake. That is unbelievable. Now we're
It's not only me
now
who's
we're
sleeping
out
then.
streaming.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry for
Turn
the
off
echo.
this.
2 seconds. Ooh, we had started streaming, but you were probably online on the channel, so we haven't broadcasted out to the audience yet. So the people waiting for us have been waiting 14 minutes because we haven't been live before now. So everything we talked about has just been between us. I'm just gonna go away for 2 minutes in shame now. Damn it, is it unbelievable?
All right. So, are we live now for the first time of this?
Yeah, we can actually make it like Matthias, he overslept and he did a lot of things, so we just had to wait a couple of minutes before we could go live. Yeah.
So you have to tell us about when you woke up at that stripper bar in Poland again, Matthias, that you just told offline.
Oh,
and why you overslept and yeah.
Yeah, I say that what happens when we're not live stays not live.
Yeah. So let's open it again.
Yeah, that was a good warm-up actually.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. Yeah. Wow.
Oh.
That was a good one.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah.
So
to recap, you have had some battery problems on the bike, Rob.
Yeah, we just need to just need to recap a little bit, and we just have to apologize to the audience because we thought we had pushed the button to go live 14 minutes ago, as we should, and we talked a lot about stuff, and everything is just that was a rehearsal. So I think we're gonna try to recap what we talked about, and we could start with Matthias. You actually overslept because summertime, and that is not so easy to get a grip on these days.
Yeah, everything was okay on all digital stuff except for my arm watch. So. But I was in time for the live, but it was just minutes before, so that was pretty cool. This morning I woke up spotting some birds. I was at the crane spotting. You know, those huge birds, and they are mating right now, so really cool.
Yeah, that's that British movie, isn't it? Crane Spotting.
Yeah, that's that wasn't it there where Obi-Wan Kenobi had his breakthrough?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think that was Crane Spotting.
Yeah, but that's awesome. And then we had some other recap here. We just started what we have done since last time.
Yeah.
Some have seen that I got a new bike. So I was on a winter trip together with my friend Ari on Slaskträffen that Steve arranges, a guy in Småland.
Yeah.
With a really funny accent, by the way. And we had a lot of fun, a lot of booze, and a lot of cold ice and snow, and that was very interesting on the bike, and really, really cold.
But when you get to that meet, it's quite cozy, right? And fire and everything, and this shelter. But getting there, I guess that's the real adventure.
Yeah, we were riding in like 540 kilometers below zero in freezing temps. So, it was really cold. And I also had my first down on the bike.
Oh,
20
you've been down?
meters before the meeting. It was totally crazy on the road, and I didn't have studs. That was crazy to not ride with studs, by the way. But then I went down in the ditch, tipped over. Really fun, and everyone knows how hard it is to lift the bike when it's very slippery under. So I had to drag the bike up on the road by its tires and then lift it up. It was really slippery there as well, but really cool.
What even do you see any pictures or video about that? I wonder.
Actually, I know a much braver guy because he's in the chat, MC Pappan. Yeah. I watched your video and you were a real champ going to the Slagträffen, and you didn't have that as far as Matthias, but I think you had a great fight there.
Yeah, I think they made a small road that was like in half an hour to ride into 5 hours. Yeah. Really fun, but it's a really cool meeting, as you said, Rob, and really cozy. And I had released some picture from that in my video that comes to what else I've done. I have been working on the bike in the garage some. Tidy up the wiring to the GPS and disassemble the front of the bike and so on. And then I released a video of that. And in that video there is some sneak peeking, so to say, from that meeting.
Yeah.
But I also did an interview with Steve, who have been riding the Eco Race, the Africa Eco Race. And that's the beer version of the interview of Steve. And that is not released yet, and I'm looking into to do that.
That is nice.
Cool.
Like we talked about just before we went live, you got a new family member as well, didn't you, Matthias?
Yeah, that's correct. For those who have been following me, you know that I have had a dog for years, but I have been without dog for 1.5 years or so. But for 1 month ago, we got new members. So it's a German short-hair pointer, or Forste in Swedish. Really sporty dog, so I get a lot of training and exercise right now.
Yeah, and I won't say you need it, but now in the cold winter, it's nice to have something to warm your hands on, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
Picking up that dog poo every day. Oh, I just gotta love it. So
yeah, it is. It is really cozy in the cold weather.
Okay, how about you, Robert? What you been up to the last couple of weeks?
I've been here in my garage.
Oh, can't you do like you did in the snobby one?
Oh, the posh pose.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is really.
I'm glad you asked, Thomas.
We see that you have a new background in the studio as well.
Yeah,
really nice.
I've been pimping the garage. I'm doing things also in the bikes area, but this is, I found it on Facebook Marketplace because I want a world map in the garage. That's a given. You need it, and I don't think it can be seen in the picture. Yeah, up here are the.
Yeah, I just want to point out a little detail, Robert. I'm not sure if you've seen it before.
Okay. Have
you it's allowed to say that I quite envy that map because I had a plan on doing something on this wall behind me, and you beat me to it. So now I have to do,
Yeah.
To find something new.
So I found this. It was €20, and it's 2 meters wide and 1.5 tall. So it's you get the feeling of it's a big.
Yeah, a lot to explore.
Yeah, it's really huge.
Your world is much smaller, Thomas.
Something in it, I think.
Yeah. And besides that, I managed to drain my battery on the Tenere. Also, I'm a gadget guy, and I put too many gadgets on the battery with the SIS app GPS thing that I want to have on the bike, and also the ODB too. Oh, yeah. Thing, and it drained the battery, the lithium battery, and it went down to 3 volts before I managed to pull it out, and I had to do a YouTube search and revive it using the charger and another battery, and I got it working again at least, because first the charger doesn't want to charge a battery which is so low, it doesn't go that far. And I've been stripping the old lady, the Suzuki.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like such a master mechanic because I can just rip parts of it and and hoses and cables and springs and so now it's all in parts. And I just dread the day when it's somehow getting back together again. But
it always amazed me how good we are to take things apart. But when you're bringing stuff back together again and make things work, that's where the challenge is.
Yeah. So, but I have good friends. But I'm also going to use the cutter. Is that what it's called in English? Cutter?
I'm not sure. Can you please elaborate a lot more about?
Yeah,
it's something that starts with a G.
It's another known word for that. It's a G.
The word that nobody wants to say because it got.
It's a grinder.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I heard you're quite good in that lately.
Yeah.
It's always you, Rob.
Yeah. So,
I'm
doing
Thomas
that.
knows everything about that.
I'm doing that, and the rest is life, I guess. Just like a tornado.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Thomas, what you've been up to?
I've been to the Norwegian bike show actually in Lillehammer this year. Spent a couple of days there and looked at some new stuff and said hello to a lot of people that follows me and kind of the Norwegian community. And
must have been
I met up with the guys from Twin Pegs, the second foot peg I have on my bike. The inventor behind that had his own stand on the bike show. So I had a talk with him and a famous Norwegian podcaster. And I've been spending a lot of time at my cabin, actually. I need to take down a lot of firewood so I can stack up for next year's season because I'm getting low. I'm trying to cut down trees before the water goes into the trees. I'm not sure what it's called in English, but And I have completed a couple of video projects for a friend of mine, and I finally managed to complete the whole trip from last season, the September trip I did through the Norwegian mountains, and put that out on YouTube so I can concentrate on new project. And like some of you know that I'm going over to England to the Lightweight Festival this summer. I'm really trying to find out. Again? I'm going to UK. I'm going over to England and joining the Lightweight Adventure Festival or something like that. Clive and Noel from the podcast had invited me over.
Sort of, how light do you have to be to get there?
Probably not that light because I'm way overloaded when it comes to bike size and luggage. So
okay. But you're going to have a little seminar or talk.
We haven't quite to figure out the details yet. I'm not sure if I'm gonna present myself and what I do on stage or if you're just gonna do an interview. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't spoken too much with the guys about that. I'm just trying to figure out to get a lot of free time in front and after the festival so I can try to spend a couple of days there riding a bike. So I just have to see that is on the planning, and I have a lot of free time in May and August, September. So I'm trying to see if I can do a couple of longer adventure trips this year, or if it's just going to become a couple of shorter trips. I'm not quite sure yet. It's like you say, life is going on, my family and everything is kind of like colliding together. So this is kind of like the year that everything is I just have to wing it. I just have to see what time I have and just go for whatever adventure that comes.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And
to look forward to the summer adventures as well.
Yeah, and on that bombshell, we can kind of go into about longer adventures. You, Robert, are planning on quite some adventure in the future, aren't you?
Yeah.
We have with Nomad Sweden. People think it's a company. I got a small CRISPR chip in my throat, so and then my eyes started watering. So anyhow, we have this we have Nomad Sweden, and it's not a company. People think, do you do tours and you're a company, because it sounds like a company, but we only have one goal, and that is to do one big trip every year, and make a movie that finances that next trip, that becomes a movie that finances the next trip, that becomes a movie, and
that is going crazy well, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're not 100% financing the next trip yet, but we're getting closer, and so on. And that's but when we look at our channel, it's us 4 guys doing these trips, and people say, I mean, I'm doing all the videos and everything and so on, but and then I do the small videos in between. But it's really the trip that we do every year that gets 90% of all the views on the channel.
Yeah.
So that's why we are 4 people, and we share every cent that the channel brings, even though I make all the videos and stuff like that. And all the videos in between, so you see me much more. But so now the last Turkey trip is picking up like crazy. I'm not sure. I published the Turkey trip in October, and in February, YouTube algorithm found out that Turkish people may want to see the Nomad Turkey trip, and it just exploded. And they love it, cool. And that's great, except one thing. We drink too much beer, and we spelled. I knew that because they want their country to be called Turkey, with the T and the U with dots.
Yeah.
RKYIE and so on. And I do that, but I have in one place Turkey, and some get angry for that. Anyhow, so the next trip, we thought that we need to go somewhere else. Let's not go on an 11,000 kilometer trip again, because and only use it for transport. It's not only transport, but going to Turkey was very long. So we said, let's fly and ride somewhere. So how convenient that I have a world map behind me.
Yeah, what a coincidence, huh?
Yes. So we first thought that flying to Cape Town was a good idea, and it is. Because there's a lot of bike rentals there. You can go and pick and choose and get bikes there, but we only have a time window in August because of all the 4 people and their schedules.
Yeah.
So we thought about other places. Over here we have India and stuff like that. But anyhow, we decided to go to Tanzania.
Ooh. That's the country with Kilimanjaro, isn't it?
Yeah.
Before and Victoria over, because it was a Nomad Sweden board meeting.
Yeah.
And we call it that because it sounds serious.
Yeah, but how many countries did you have in the poll of where you wanted to go?
We had South Africa, and it's an amazing place, and I'm not shy in that sense. I'm shy in the real world, but when it comes to online, I reach out to people and I have video meetings, with bikers and get to know everything about South Africa, where to go and blah blah blah. But in August, this is winter time, and it's cold and it's rainy. Mm-hmm. So we thought about Namibia, Botswana. Namibia, Botswana is also awesome places. right? Because South Africa, it's a lot about parks, and you go in there and there's the lion. Yeah. But in Namibia, that's sort of just a different planet. It's uncivilized in that sense, not the people, but there's so many vast open areas and just...
It's more wild.
And you will meet all the animals on the... But anyhow, we because of climate in August, it's a dry season, about 0 millimeters of rain. It's between 20 and 30 degrees. Ooh. And there are local Tanzanian beer.
Yeah, the Turkey trip didn't teach you anything, did it?
No. So, but we have made a mistake. It's not a mistake, but because when we woke up the next morning, we apparently already booked the airline tickets to Dar es Salaam.
Yeah, so you did that great. Influenced by, how to say it, firewater.
Under the influence, perhaps. Yeah, so, and we checked the bank account and it matched the emails that we got about our booked flight. So okay. It's perfect. Like
yeah.
So
but Tanzania sounds like a really great choice. It's I get the picture of a very, so to speak, real Africa.
You get a lot of Africa. If you want sort of the Africa experience, you get that more than in South Africa. So
it's easy to see Africa as a continent and kind of like small on the map, but Africa is huge. It's just insanely huge, and there's so many countries inside Africa that are kind of so huge of a contrast to each other. I've tried to read up a little bit on Africa after you guys said you were going there, and it's just so much to take in. And kind of like the only thing I knew about Africa, except from it the desert on top, is that you have the different languages that are quite silly when it comes to everybody's seen the language so with the gods are crazy or what it is.
You wouldn't have any problem.
Sounds great.
I'm not sure if that is in Tanzania, but I really hope that, and you can capture that on movie, because it would be brilliant when you standing there with the guy and you just and I'm not trying to take a piss on people. I'm just really fascinated by the language with the clicking sound, and it just blew my mind.
But we do have a problem, and I'm reaching out now to Instagram biker accounts in Tanzania, because Dar es Salaam is on the coast.
Yeah, that's a capital, isn't it?
It's the capital, and it's really close to Zanzibar. So we said, if we can't find any bikes in Dar, then we just pop over to Zanzibar, rent there, and then we go mainland. And we want to spend, of course, some time on the Paradise Island there, the Zanzibar. But turns out Zanzibar is almost Tanzania. There are some sort of self-rule there, but basically you cannot take your bike with a lot of money and bureaucracy.
Okay.
So it's not just to pop over. So that's hard, and the rest of all the bike and tourists, because the tourist area of Tanzania is in the north, Kilimanjaro, Serengeti, and that's where everything is happening. So we will go to Dar, and we have no bikes yet.
Okay.
Okay, but that's an easy fix.
Yeah, probably.
But on
that bombshell, just to because of today's episode, I just want to reach out to the audience. If you have any questions you want us to answer, we will take that in considerations afterwards. So just ask your questions in the chat, and we will go through it afterwards and bring it up on screen and answer the best we can. Yeah, continue.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so that's happening. It's going to be insane. It's going to be way off from what I'm used to, and also there's so many guided tours. but that's what we are, and we can speak about this in general now, not about Tanzania, but going on tours, and that's really what we are staying away from. They can be fantastic, but there are to Morocco, there are tours in Tanzania, the Kilimanjaro experience. You can do the 7-day or the 11-day, and you can do all of that. And the entire trip, every place that you're going to be. Day 1, 2, 3, 4. At day 5, we're going to stay at this place, and we're going to watch that thing, and then, and that sort of takes. That's what the 4 of us at least think takes away a bit of the adventure, because we will land in Dar, and then we have a flight going home 3 weeks plus a few days later, and you get on a bike, and then you head somewhere. But I guess you want to know.
Sorry, I guess that it's a lot of people. Like I think we said talked about this in an earlier episode, or at least we talked about it with Dragos, and that is when you go to a country that you don't know about, you kind of want to spend a little bit of extra money to just get all the best highlights you can get in a certain amount of days. So I do understand that it's really popular to do these kind of trips, but for me personally, to go. Half the adventure is kind of like doing something that nobody else does, in a way. How about you, Matthias? What do you think about this planned tripping?
Yeah, I think it's to do a trip like the nomads are planning, that requires a lot of research, because you do it one time and you need to make the best out of it, and you're not just go by the wind, so to speak.
Yeah.
So a lot of research, and as you have already done that, Rob, to reach out to people, to ask them what is needed to be done, and to get on a guided tour. I don't think that should be actually okay in a travel like that. I think I don't know if it's the nomad thing how to do trips, but you get a lot in a good way.
Yeah,
I know. I am curious about the bikes, though. Are you going for like 250s, or what are you aiming for?
Light bikes, for sure. Because, again, we will fly there, so we will not have any camping equipment or anything. We can do a guided... On the trip, we can make some sort of guided safari part of the trip. So we get to Serengeti, for instance. We can... rent a guide, and then, because you cannot go into the national park without.
Sounds wise to not chase the lions with bikes by yourself.
How long for me, Africa is so big, it's really hard to know from Dar es Salaam, I'm not sure the name of it, but from the capital to like Kilimanjaro, how far is it? How many days do you plan to get from A to B in that sense?
We have 3 weeks, and we said that about 250 kilometers a day is wise, not to have anything more, because then you can take your time, you can stop, and you can, and so on, and not get yes, but I mean, just pushing miles and so on, and this boils down to the bike choice also, I guess. But so during the mainland trip there, about 2,500 kilometers, and that will only take you. It will take you from Dar. You cannot see very well here, and you can go up north, because that's where the action is when it comes to tourism, at least. You can go up to Kilimanjaro, go west towards the Victoria Lake, where the it's 3 countries there. It's Tanzania, it's Uganda, and Kenya. You know, Uganda, the homophobes. and then go down. So we can make a tour, sort of half of Tanzania in 2,500 kilometers. But the bike choice is 2 different bikes, and one of them is
you're lagging a little bit.
We're looking at, and that's something like the Royal Enfield Himalayan, because I know you can rent them there.
Okay.
There are some availability of those, and then you have the CRFs, the Honda CRF 250 300s, and so on. But I'm a bit tempted actually because every bike you would meet there, that's the African brand, the Bayai Boxer X150.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's a 150cc bike. That sort of is the dirt road commuting bike, you all seen those videos when there's a fully Touratech equipped guy on his 1200 in a mud pit in Africa, and he's stuck. And then there's sort of a Bayai 150 with 3 people on, just what's up with him?
You need to get those bikes.
Yeah, everybody's seen that. But can you imagine the stories afterwards with Robert and Seymour on one of those bikes, kind of like Dumb and Dumber with the movie? They're coming over the mountain.
Yeah. We'll do that.
Our friend Pia, she went to Madagascar and toured around complete Madagascar on the 50cc.
Yeah, that's cool.
That is impressive.
Months ago, and that was cool to follow, actually. So you're not considering 50cc?
That's that, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool. But Rob, you did consider US as well.
We did. That was actually first. This autumn, of course, we started to think about next year's big trip, because the year is a lot of small things happening.
Yeah.
Like Skoog and Rally, and some just the weekend, the camping trips that are awesome also. But we first said that we need to do US, and I still want to do US. The back roads of US, the BDRs and things like that would be awesome. And we first thought about flying to Chicago, rent bikes, go to Los Angeles through all the BDRs and stuff like that. Not all, but chosen ones. So
that's another year.
We need to get up to Itchy Boots level on the economy on the channel first.
Yeah, it's quite expensive to go over to the American side, isn't it? But do you guys? For me, this last half year, I've spent a lot of time editing the last episodes and the long movie for YouTube, and it's kind of like I feel like it gets a little bit oversaturated with adventure videos. You kind of go from A to B, and you just change the scenes, but it kind of like the story is kind of repeating itself. I felt like when I was editing the last episode, I was kind of finding out for myself, I need to do something new. I need to try something else. I will continue to make adventure videos, of course, but I think I will mix it up a little bit more so we don't get too much of the same content every time, all the time. So, of course, like you, Robert, the big adventure trips every year, it's kind of one thing. But everything in between, I said you started to do something in the garage and the workshop and everything. I think that is quite smart, actually, to mix it up a little bit so that people get to know us better and the people behind the video, not only just going from A to B. Because you see, all the most viewed videos are adventure girl on an adventure bike going from A to B, and it's on repeat, and it's really popular, of course. But do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think you're so on something there, but that's for us to plan to keep up the good work with YouTube, of course, to get it interesting for ourselves, and that's very personal, of course.
Yeah, it gets me to think also, because I know the last period of time I go into YouTube, and YouTube is showing only adventure bike videos for me because, of course, I subscribe to all these channels and I watch videos, but as you said, it's becoming a bit saturated, so it takes a lot more for me to actually click and watch one now. So it has to be something a bit off to the normal, here I go riding again and so on. Yeah,
I felt that a lot lately, kind of, because I felt like, because I was spinning in the same pattern a lot of time, and I've done a couple of really bold moves when it comes to spending time on my cabin, doing the wood carving stuff, and doing kind of the quite opposite of adventure riding. But you can kind of put everything into the same red line with the camping, the adventure, going outdoors, spending time outdoors, doing cooking, so I think I would try to mix it up a little bit to try to just offer more of what I do, not only adventure riding, but everything around adventure riding as well, in a way.
It sounds like a good plan for us who are following you, Thomas. I think we will appreciate it, of course, to see a bigger picture of it and other parts of yourself and your skills.
Yeah, and that is interesting
because
one of the main reasons I enjoy you videos, Matthias, as well, is the way you kind of go hunting, you go on trips with your fuck truck, you do kind of the trangia, and when you mix all the herbs into the oil, I'm not sure what you call it, but it's just that gives such a good good vibe for me, and I really appreciate that. And to see that an adventure rider that rides adventure motorcycles can enjoy that part of life as well, that I'm quite interested in myself. It brings so much more to the table. But I'm not sure.
As we have been speaking about this, it's not very smart for the channel. But to me, it's a way to think it's fun to do this. So, and that's most important for me.
Yeah, and that is what the only thing you can do as a video maker,
creator,
is to do the things that you are passionate about. Because when you do that it just gets good automatically. And if, I mean, try doing videos about something that doesn't really interest you or is close to the heart.
Yeah, that will just be you don't get that little X factor in it. It's like one of your videos, I remember, Robert, when you went over the street with the shovel. I think it was something about your new garage or something. And I saw all the creative angles, and for me, like a filmatic perspective of it all, it was just I could see so much passion in the complete story between the video, because
exactly, we see that you have fun, Rob, and that's
I think that is really important.
But that's because we are video nerds also.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, I mean that is why we have quite successful YouTube channels. It's not because we are the best bike riders, we are the best adventure gurus or whatever. It's just that we enjoy video making and challenge ourselves to make better videos each time. So that's a very important part of
Thomas, excuse me, Thomas, you went into this, that it sounds like these are your plans for the coming year on your channel. Do you have some to mix up content? Do you have any travel plans as well?
Yeah, I'm like I'm saying, I'm going over to England to the Lightweight Festival. But in May, I wanted to go over to you guys in Sweden, actually, and try to do some camping and cooking and try to meet up with more
again.
Fuck no, we thought we could steer away from that, but I'm hoping to meet up with more people that have influenced the community more. I want to be more behind the camera and showcase others in the way that I try to showcase people that have been like the rocks in the foundation of the community in the motorcycle adventure thing here in Norway, in Sweden and Scandinavia in general. And I want to do I shouldn't say this in case Dragos is listening, but I really trying to get down to Romania in August.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But our secret. Yeah,
but I'm actually, I'm not paid by the Romanian government, if someone was wondering, but everyone needs to go to Romania.
Yeah.
Yeah, then
after the talk with Dragos, I was just sold. Yeah.
Guys, we have a question.
Let's do some questions.
Let's start from the top when we were actually broadcasting. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I just
bring
read
up
the question that was bearing into this.
Oh fuck!
I'll just click on some.
Dragos is actually listening. That was.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
So,
that's cool.
Nice map. That's nice. And let's see. Question for you all. Is that showing now?
Yeah. Question for you all. What would you consider a good weight luggage-wise for a 7-week trip to Norway? I will be camping as much as possible. Well, I could probably shine a light on that one. It doesn't matter if it's Norway, Sweden. Doesn't matter what country you go to be honest. Weight? How much weight? I've never actually measured my weight, also the luggage in that regard. I think it's much... The most important part is to pack everything or put everything out on the floor, take a look at it and see what you can take away. How much can you eliminate? Yeah. What do you really need? What is good to have? And everything that is just good to have, skip it. Because no matter what trip you will go on, you will see that stuff you bring will only stay in your luggage. You won't use it. So of course, yes, you have the tent or the hammock, you have the sleeping bag, you have the sleeping mattress, you have clothes, and you have food or kitchen stuff. But apart from that, I see people bring way too much stuff on their trips.
I could add some tip there to the Norwegian trip. Do not underestimate how good sleeping bag you might need if you go to Sweden or Norway, to the northern parts or to the highland parts.
Good point.
So you can skip a lot of things to pack, but do not elaborate on the sleeping bag if you plan to sleep outdoors. You need a good one.
I say always a minimum minus 10 degree comfort temperature on the sleeping bag.
I have another one for you, Thomas.
Yeah. Blåhö on a FJR 1300 possible. It is actually. It's quite the trip up to Blåhö is easy gravel or fast gravel. I'm not sure. It's like a fire road, like you say. And there's just a little bit a sketchy part on the last bit up to Blåhö that can be a little bit challenging, but that shouldn't be a problem.
Just keep up the speed.
Yeah. Next.
Okay, I'm checking the questions here. Babidi-babidi-boo. Here's an interesting one.
Oh, that is good question. Just you two guys can answer that. I go and take a piss and fill up the glass, and I'll be right back.
He doesn't want to answer that. He bailed out.
Okay, so what do we have?
I think if the three of us were to go, or perhaps when, were to go on a trip together and make a cool little video about that, I think it would be, as they say, in Sweden or Norway. Because we're so much, especially the three of us, this team is so much into camping and wild camping and the nature side of it, and that's the easiest thing to do, of course.
I think the most it would be to do travel that we meet up at the border somewhere, Finnskogen maybe.
Yeah, we talked about this because we said that one video sequence would be that we go and we get close to the Norwegian border, and there is Thomas waiting at the border, and we just turn around to go the other direction and just say.
But I don't know if Henrik, who asked the questions, knows that we have met up in. It was at the eastern part of Lake Vättern in Sweden this summer. So we have some videos on that meeting up, but that was not a travel together with all three. Only meet up, and me and Thomas continued to go around the lake.
Oh, nice.
But we have talked about to meet up and do something fun together. I really look forward to that.
Do you remember another video sequence, Thomas, that we spoke about? If we were to make a video together, and it's meeting at the Swedish-Norwegian border, and one sequence that we spoke of was standing in Sweden and pissing over to Norway.
Yeah, I'm pissing back and see who...
And you're pissing back to Sweden, yeah. So they have to look forward to that. It will be very sarcastic and lovingly mean.
As you hear, we have ideas.
Yeah, but for me, as like I said initially in the beginning, I got a lot of free time in May, so I'm really eager to go over to the gravel roads in the eastern part of Norway, and probably over to Sweden, and probably hook up with you guys. And I would love to do Robert the movie and Matthias the movie. I would make a documentary about that, but then I need to stay with you guys for at least a year and try to capture all the moments, because there's so much to shine a light on. And I really hope
we covered some last summer, Thomas, at the evenings in the hammocks.
Another question: how long will you be in Tanzania or Tanganyika? 3 weeks plus a few days, so almost 4 weeks. So
that's full throttle.
Yeah, so that'll be good. Maybe you can meet in the woods, and it's in August, and she's making her way down, and perhaps she's in Tanzania when we're there, and could be cool. And I'm really so sure she will be completely starstruck.
Oh yeah, of course she will.
Of course.
Like that. And we have, of course, so we have Steve here, Steve MK. He loves when things don't go as planned. I know you do. When things go good, that's good. And if things go to hell, that's good too.
Isn't that when the adventure actually starts, when thing doesn't go as planned?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So we have a question here from Eric P. Oh, I need to pee. So maybe you could talk about
Eric P.
I
can answer that. As I actually saw the commercial for the Nox Urban Pro MK3 today or yesterday at YouTube actually, and it's like the super shirt from Adventure Spec. And the problem with the Nox armor is that it's really bulky. It feels more like a jacket than it's a shirt. And I just saw a comment underneath the video that a guy who said or claimed that the Adventure Tech super shirt the Adventure Spec super shirt and another brand was much lighter than the Nox version. So I would guess doing a product like this, of course it should be lightweight, but I do all the armor inside the jacket because the changing weather all the time here in Norway, so I actually prefer a 3-layer Gore-Tex with armor inside compared to you, Matthias.
Yeah, I have the super shirt from Adventure Spec, and I'm really happy with it. It should be we should bring this into another episode with just speaking about how we gear up.
The layering, yeah.
But I could say, I have not seen the Mark III of the Nox, but I have had the Mark II in my hands. And I hope I'm not stepping on anyone here or so, but I felt really, really happy when I walked out that store with my shirt on me. Yeah. But that's me and my preferences of this jacket. And it is an awesome way to gear up. So I'm positive. So you do your research, and maybe we will get back on the subject as well, together with the other parts of gearing up.
I have the Nox jacket, as he knows, because he asked the question, and it's the Make 1, I think. And yes, I will upgrade when the damn thing wears out. I have it 4 years now.
Yeah, and that's a sustainable way to do things.
Yeah. Let somebody else smell it. Maybe they can tell you when to upgrade.
Yeah, but actually, I love that jacket. But I haven't tried anything else. Because I bought that among the first things that I did in 2017 or 18. No, 18 it was. I think I got that one. So it's 5 years soon, and I've been using it ever since, and I just love it. I haven't tried anything else, so I don't know if there's something lighter or whatever. It just works. And there's been, after 4 or 5 years, there's been a seam that got undone, but I just turned it into a place where they sew it back up, and then
that's good. But I think the main part of the question, if this is a good item to have and wear, and that it is definitely if you're into layering. That's the main part maybe of the layering system, to have equipment like this.
Yeah.
And I have had before this super shirt, I have had it for years from Halvarsson or Lindstrand, a similar product, but that was not as protective for the abrasive protection.
Yeah.
So you couldn't use the single and only jacket as you can with, for example, the super shirt and
it's scrubbed through if you go on the tarmac or
But the way how to dress up, I have done it for many years, and I wouldn't think to do anything else.
But just hold on that a little bit, because I made a poll on my channel the other day about if you wear Gore-Tex or if you use layering system, or if you just use cheap and practical. And I'm amazed how many people who answer that. But it seems like when you're used to something that works for you, it's really hard to go to something else or try something else. And I think you kind of get used to the way of layering or the way of using the Gore-Tex and your environment that you ride in. For me, here up north, it's really easy to just stick to the 3 layers, because you have all the changing weather all the time. But if I was going down to Spain or going down to Africa, I need to check other stuff, because then you don't need Gore-Tex in the same way that you do up here. So I think it's really climate situational related in a way.
That's a real good point, but I think we should lift that into one episode, how we gear. Because it's a lot to talk about there.
Okay, we have a question here from Steve MK. From All In Travel.
Is he awake from the meeting?
2.5 beer. 2.5 beer.
The sleeping bag tire. What the tire pressure do you have in the sleeping pad?
Maybe Robert can answer that. You got fire in the sleeping bag, you know. He didn't think it was funny.
Yeah, well, that's Steve for you.
Yeah.
But actually, it is a question. What pressure do you have in your sleeping mat, in the pad?
Definitely.
Yeah. And what I do is I fill it with air, so it's like a swimming toy.
Looks great.
Yes. I fill it up, but then I lay down on it and I release the air until I sort of floating just above the ground.
Yeah. Approximately.
What did you get?
This much.
Oh, this is great. Of course you had one of these.
I got it from my girlfriend. It's a stress ball.
I'm not surprised.
And why would she buy something like that when she has two her own? So but you should buy two, and I want to make a screenshot of
that. That was great. But to answer the question, it depends. In the hammock, I like to have good pressure in the mattress. And in the tent, as you said, guys, you just air it out a bit to get the best comfort.
Yeah. Because that it depends on how. For me, I like to have the 9 centimeter pad, because I got a prolapse in my back, so I need a little bit more sleeping comfort when I'm sleeping on the ground. So I try to keep make it as firm as possible before I lay down, and I try to adjust it to my liking.
Yeah. Would be cool to hear Steve answer that as well. What he likes. Agitator. That's from Arboga.
What is that?
Arboga. Yeah, I really like
you
that.
You guys, you just need to see this. I'll bring it on the big screen. Just hold on. It's amazing. Look at this.
A bottle with crash bars. Crash bars or not, that's also an episode of its own.
It's 3 liters.
3 liters of Jack. You're set for life, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. You're set for the weekend at least.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you have other questions? Please do an episode on clothing and one on trail food recipe that work on the Trangia and such. Oh, that is actually a really good one. It's more like a request than an
burger or the dry freezed food. Yeah, we could do one of those.
Yeah, but trail food. Have you ever tried eating those trail or the dry freezed food for more than a couple of days? My stomach just turned into a brick house when I'm eating that shit.
No, I only compliment with those, so I'm not eating them for days in and days out. Yeah, maybe for a week actually. 5 days or so I'm eating them.
Yeah, but according to wet wipes, just to shine a light on that, I don't have much hair on my head compared to other parts of my body. But if a seagull flies above you and shit on your head, do you dry it away with papers, or do you dry it away with wet wipes, or you take a shower?
Yeah. and that happens.
That happens all the time.
Yeah.
Every day, actually.
It sounds like you have an experience here, I think.
Yeah.
Would be great to hear that episode.
That would be.
Yeah. Okay. So what do we have more? Cool questions. I heard a question about tires.
RTW stand for? Ride the world?
Yeah, around the world.
Around the world, okay.
If you're not a flat earther, then it's sort of over the whole world. OTV, I think.
Yeah, I'm a flat earther. I go from A to B, in a way. But
just personally...
I actually got a lot of questions about this because I have spent a lot of time in Norway the last couple of years. And it's actually a good reason for that, because my family situation and my kid growing up, I need to kind of follow up on him and my family commitments and work, of course. So it haven't given me the possibility to ride too much in other countries like I would. But I have set a date when I'm 50 years old. That's 10 years from now. I want to go from Alaska down to the southern part of South America, like a 50 anniversary gift for myself. I want to spend a year on the road. So I could absolutely see myself on a around the world trip, but not before my kid is a little bit older, and that will probably not happen before maybe 5 years or so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about time away. I would love to go on a bike. That's not the problem. But the time frame, let's say you need around the world, I'm not sure how much time do you need, but I mean, a year. But because you're not doing the sort of round the world in 80 days thing, you're going around and let's say you need a year off. I'd love to do that. But even though my kids are quite grown up and I have a work that I don't have to impress anyone.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Yeah. So but still I wouldn't, because of my family life and everything, we still have kids living at home and so on. I don't want to be too absent from that for a whole year. That would be, so I would think it would be easier if I was 20 something and just went away on a bike, but it's not a big dream that I'm crying myself to sleep over either. We're going one place every year, and that's good. I don't have to go around the world.
That's great. To me, this actually has been a dream. At least when I started this ADV riding in the grown-up age. But I was in the situation with small kids and so on, so that was just a dream, not really realistic to realize the dream. But it's still there somewhere. I could do it one day.
Yeah, me too. I
had a really interesting.
To get up from work for 1 year and go on an RTV trip should be really awesome, and it's still a dream somewhere there.
I think it's really important to have dreams like that. And I had a really interesting chat with my little brother the other day, and he's on a around the world trip, or spending times on his camper. He's been spending times in Portugal, he's been to the Swiss Alps, and now he's in Sri Lanka, and he's just all over the place. And he's been working really hard to just free himself from all the economy and all that stuff. And he and his girlfriend is riding around the world. And he had a really good point when it comes to everything is so extreme these days. You see, if you go skiing, everybody's kind of always on the bridge of dying when it comes to avalanches or drops or everything. You see the Red Bull helmets. Everything is so damn extreme, and I want to do more like the normal ADV thing. I don't need to be that extreme. I want to showcase what I feel when I'm out riding, what I experience. And if I could do a around the world trip, if I went to America for 2 months, I go back for 1 month, and I go back down south for 2 months. It's kind of like you can shift it up. You don't need to be away for 1 year. You can be away for a couple of months, go back again, away for a couple of months. The issue is, can you store your bike and all that stuff? But yeah.
That's a great question. It's not needed to feel the real adventure part of this ADV riding. I think to go on the week trips or in the woods or down to Romania and meet Dragos or anything like that, it's good enough, definitely, because you get that pause from the everyday life and for some weeks, and that makes good. You need to breathe some out there.
And I think it's like when you go to the woods, or you just go away from the normal life for a day or two, it's kind of like much more gjenkjennbart, or I don't say how to English, but you can rely or relate to the issue much better. But if you do a extreme trip for a year, it's really hard for people to understand that or be grasping that. But if you kind of go on the weekly adventures or the week or two adventures, it's much more easy going on the normal people that most of you guys are actually.
The best adventures out there, that's the one that you do. That's a great answer to it.
That is a good quote, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question to myself.
Yeah.
That's about, I saw your video about using the tablet with DMD2, Drive Mode Dashboard 2 app instead of a traditional GPS. Have you tried it in real life, or is it just an interesting experiment? First of all, I've never used a traditional GPS. So I always used apps for navigation and route making and stuff like that. Is it too strong for you, Thomas? Let me know. I'll send someone over to help you. No, and then I got this DMD project, and I've used it for 3 years now, and I've used it on all my trips through Balkans, through Turkey, through everywhere. And so it's not just an interesting experiment. It's a project that I really believe in, and it's made by passionate off-road people for off-road people. So, but the previous versions have been lacking some stuff. So the guy with the Garmin GPS, he do the spontaneous navigation, because DMD2 currently cannot do route planning on the road. I do that at home, and I make tracks, and then I use it for that, and then also DMD2 I use it for road book navigation and all the other apps that I want. So,
but your device could have Google Maps, couldn't it?
It's the actual device runs DMD2 as home screen, or sort of the base application of the device.
So
and it has the road book reader, it has the maps, and it has the ODB2 readings with everything you want, coolant and temperature and whatever.
Just a little shout out to Hestad. He's my own Reodor Felgen. I'm not sure if you've seen it, but that's the guy I've been doing some project with. He made a 3D print for my new bike. Cheers, Hestad. You probably will see Hansen and Hestad videos in the future, but yeah.
Yeah. So the DMD project, to close that one, it's proven. It's and navigation and route planning is coming as a feature also. So yeah, I really like to use that one.
Yeah, it looks like a really good system.
Will you guys
Dutch Minion and her bike. Cheers. She's been bugging the shit out of me on WhatsApp when it comes to showing me pictures when the weather is nice down there. Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers to you, Dutch Minion.
On her travel trophy. I'm not sure if Matthias would make that.
Will we join the Tenere Travel Trophy? And who won't? And his name is Matthias on his bloody KTM. But actually, I'm not sure what the travel trophy is.
No, I never heard about it either. I need to Google that. I'll write it down.
Yeah. So Dutch Minion and her bike. Post a link or something so that we can see what the Tenere.
But we can conclude that Matthias won't join it this year.
No TTT for me, but as you say, please send us a link here. Cool to look
at. You have a KTM event happening in Oslo
Yeah, the official KTM rally or
June, July?
Something.
Not really in Oslo. It's up in Grimsdalen, I think.
Yeah, it's in Alvdal or close to Grimsby and the places. Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, I'm not planning to go on that one, but yeah, I would like to.
I really want to go over there and make some video and try to see if I can stand outside in the in the area where they're gonna ride to see if I can capture any good footage. And yeah, I have to see.
And make some noise. Okay, guys, we've been at it, even though we missed the live button in the beginning.
Don't blame me.
No. We're blaming Matthias. He got us all out of the rhythm.
Yeah, it's Matthias' fault because he was late.
We've been at it for 1 hour and 10 minutes, so perhaps that's all people can take.
Yeah, but we are a little bit late, so we were late on it.
Oh yeah.
I think
we have to have a couple of more questions than that. I'm having such a good time. Come on, bring it.
We don't have any more questions, actually. So you can.
I saw a tire question.
Huh?
I saw a tire question.
Yeah.
So that is interesting. That is always a good.
You're riding on.
Now we're gonna.
Which tires are you running or use? I think there was a question.
Oh. So I'm going to switch over to the normal view now with all three, the first view. For me, I have my favorite combination of tires because I ride a lot of tarmac. So I do the Continental TKC 80 front and I do the Mitas E07 Plus on the rear. And I get a lot of questions why I mix it up like that. And that's because the TKC 80 front is the best adventure tire I've ever tried. It's really good in the twisties on the tarmac, but it's also really good on gravel. And because I ride a lot of tarmac as well, I need a more 50-50 oriented tire because it would burn out the knobbies if I run that on the tarmac. And I just find that the combination between the Mitas and the Continental is a really good setup for Norwegian conditions. But if I'm going over to Sweden or I'm going over on more gravel-oriented adventures, I would put on a more knobby rear tire like the Mitas E09.
All right. So you, Rob?
Currently, I'm on a tire for the first time that I haven't ridden in the right conditions yet because I put it on in December, but it's the Michelin Tracker and it's 160 euros for a set.
That is cheap.
Yeah, but it's really, they are awesome tires for off-road because they are sort of enduro tires.
Enduro rated.
So they are cheap when you buy them, but I go too much tarmac because I need to go places and stuff like that, and they wear out like whatever.
But what I have seen on the Tracker is that they actually hold up very well, even if you use the power on gravel and so on, or off-road trips. Better than I thought they should do.
Yeah. I haven't tried them out. I rode when I got back from Turkey. I had my worn-out Motos tracks tires, and I went to meet Anders Olofsson at Uphill Off-Road Racing, off-road school. Yeah. So I went on his grass track, and that's mud, sort of slippery soil, wet soil and grass.
Yeah, that is
and
tricky
he has
for
a big
any
track.
Tire.
So I went on it with my post-Turkey tires, the Motos, who had about 12,000 kilometers on them. So, and I went on that track, and the bike just slid. I fell on the ground once, and it just fell under me, and then I took a lap on his bike, which also had the suspension modification that I have now done, and he had the trackers, Michelin tracker tires on, and it just like went like on rails.
Day and night.
Yeah. So I got those tires, 160 euros for a set, and hopefully they will last till Skog. Yeah. So I can use them there.
I'm pretty sure they will do that.
But you, Matthias, you're used to riding the Motas tires, but now you got the OEM Mitas tire. That's old Trelleborg tires. How do you feel about that?
Yeah.
To speak about that, I just have to see a man about a mule.
About tires, my history about tires has been that I've been riding with knobby tires, both on the larger adventure bikes and on smaller adventure bikes, and on these middleweight adventure bikes that I have recently with the 790 and the 890. And I have tried many different tires. On the 690, I had the most aggressive ones, the CO2, Mita CO2 on the rear. These are super aggressive. Yeah, I had them for years. I bought several sets actually at one time, so I could use it for many, many years. And the front, I used the C21 at that bike. And this, I used them always on that bike. It didn't matter what kind of trip it was. But super aggressive, and they actually, you need to be careful with the ground because you really destroy the surface if you are hard to it. So, but that's the case with many tires. And as you say, on the 790, I was riding the Karoo 3, which I also have been riding on at larger bike, and I hated them. But one time I got them for free, and on the 790 I got them as OEM tires. So, but I used to wear out tires and live with them somewhat on the first run. So, and then I went for the Motos tires. I have used the Rals, both front and rear, and I have used the Desert, the Motos Desert as well for the front and rear. Both those sets are amazing.
Yeah, I was spending time behind you when you. I was spending time behind you when you were on the desert, and I know all about how much that could spin up and throw rocks behind you.
Yeah, the desert is as well with a 100 horsepower bike, definitely a surface destroyer.
Yeah.
So be careful with that. But as you say, I have the Mitas E07 Plus OEM tires on the 890 right now, and I've tried them, and they actually do good at gravel roads and hard surface and things like that, and definitely on road. They suck as many tires do on wet mud and wet grass
That's my
roads.
Experience as well.
And that's what you can expect when you just look at the tires, and that is not like a surprise. But I will actually try these tires. If I will go on a more aggressive trip, I will change them, but to probably Motas or trackers. But if I go trackers, I need to go tubeless. So that's also a trade, if you go tubeless or if you go tube-type tires. And the Motas tires is pretty good if you stay on the tubeless ones.
I actually think that the tires alone could be a completely standalone episode, because that is so much to cover in that. But I know about your style of riding. I've seen the way you ride. I have the pleasure of riding with you, and I've seen a couple of clips you put out, and I saw that when you just bring out the new 890 on the gravel roads, the way you ride, I felt like I also Mia experience as well, is that the Mitas tires slip a little bit easy, so your traction control kind of controls the slip ring on the rear. I see that I saw when you put out a video about it, it's kind of like the rear is going out in a much faster than it would with your Motas tire, because your riding style is quite more aggressive, or kind of like more wrap.
It's actually more complicated than that, because in the video I make a terrible mistake in one turn. I have totally wrong position on the bike, but I have the totally correct position in the first curve. And it's a huge difference in how you attack the curves and the outcome of it. And then, as you say, when you do it wrong, and you use all the power and you have the traction control, I think I have it on level 3. It doesn't matter if you don't know these bikes, but that should allow for a lot of slip. So that's mainly because I do not control the bike in the correct way in that scene. And that looks a little bit weird if you're detailed. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you won't even notice. But I will end up this. If you're very used to and experienced on riding on gravel, I must say that the tires it gets you security or a feel of security, and that could make you ride better because you're more aggressive. But if you're scared about your tires and you don't think that you have the traction, you will ride worse. This is very common for unexperienced riders. So the type of tires gets like less important if you're a very, very experienced rider.
Indeed.
It's quite unique in a way, because you see...
Because you use the bike's physics when you ride. You don't really use the knobs. But when you get into mud, wet grass, or if there are ruts in the track, or
that is dangerous.
Then you need to be able to run up from these and climb somewhat in the ends. And then there are the differences, actually.
People spend...
It could also be a difference in braking.
People spend between 200 and 300,000 Norwegian krone on a motorcycle. But they are really insecure when it comes to spending 3,000 Norwegian krone on a set of tires. And I think that, like you say, a lot of tires depends on your confidence and your way of riding. So for me, when I had the OEM tires on the Tenere 700, I felt like every time I went in the corners on gravel roads, I felt like the front tire was washing out. It's kind of like it slipped. So I always felt like the bike was really unpredictable. But as soon as I changed back to the TKC 80 that I was used to, it completely revolutionized the bike. It doesn't say that it's a much better tire, but for me and my riding style, that made a huge difference. And I think it's just try and dare to try different brands, mix it up a little bit, see if you can find your combination that you compare to your riding style. And I think that is such a huge issue between many people.
Now we have that look again. No, if you get confidence with tires, you will get a better rider as well. So that's very important.
I think that is a good point.
Yeah, of course.
I think the best beginner tip is to get the best traction tires as possible. And with experience, you can ride less appropriate tires.
Yeah, but when you say it like that, what is the best traction tire you can get?
Yeah, well, you can get whatever super traction tires if you are in loose soil and off-road conditions, but people don't go there.
I'm a tire geek. I'm breaking it down to the atoms and everything, and you cannot buy a poor tire today. It's impossible. All the big tire companies are making incredible good tires today, and the silica mixture.
But mainly it comes down. You should buy, I guess, the tire that gives you the best on-road traction.
Okay, if I'm used to riding a street bike, a street fighter, and going over to the adventure segment, which tire should I choose?
That gives you the best traction in all the conditions that you do ride, because I now have the Michelin Tracker.
Yeah,
they are great when I end up in loose soil or mud and so on, and that's about 2% of the times I'm riding.
They suck on the distance on braking at the
It's 2% of the riding, but it's 80% of the videos.
But I'm the kind of guy that rides into the mud because I have those tires on and need to use them. But
I agree with you. I love the aggressive tires because those 2% of the riding, those need to be the most fun.
Yeah. So, but if you were riding with us and we dove into the mud pits and because we wanted to make use of our aggressive tires, if you rode with us with the Mitas EO7s, which are sort of 80-20, 70-30 tires, I would say.
Yeah, they will. No, that gets
There's always a way around. You go into that stuff because you want to.
But what to say about the Mitas EO7 so far, because that's the less aggressive tire I have been riding for some years. So what to say, they have no traction at rear as soon as it gets wet on off-road surfaces, so it's on non-asphalt surfaces.
It's a great road tire, but it's an okay gravel tire.
I would say it's a perfect maybe TET tire, Trans-European Trail tire, because it's a long travel. You need to have longevity on the tires, and they perform very, very well. And the small portions and stretches on the depending on
that's
country,
the northern part of the TET.
Okay, guys,
perfect.
We need to have a separate tire episode. Now we're just we're having a good time and so on, but this video can't go on forever. So I guess it's time to say cheerio.
Yeah.
And also learn that, at least for us, we don't need a specific theme always.
No, it's been really fun to just chat up, talk with you guys online, and answer the questions, because we don't have time for that in every episode. But I really enjoyed this. This was quite fun.
Question and answer episode was really, really fun, and that the time just flies.
Please leave a comment below if we should do it more often, or if it's okay to do it every now and then.
I look forward to a oil, tire, and suspension episode as well.
That's good.
Nice.
Okay.
So, I guess it's good night. You have to go up and go to work tomorrow, as we do.
And thank you so much for sticking with us, and enjoy all the support. Appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
See you.
Cheers.